Farm Kenya, brought to you by Fugo.
Maziwa kwa wingi, ni kama mvua. Maziwa kwa wingi, utashiba.
Akishiba, utashiba. Fugo Calf Starter Pellets, Calf Grow Pencils, Heifer Grow, Dairy Milk Plus, and Maxi Milk Plus. Products of Unga Farm Care.
Akishiba, utashiba. Utashiba.
Profite na ng'ombe wako.
Kwa mkono ambao unalima ardhi, mlango wa mkulima kuwa mshindi. Kuwa na uhakika sasa, kulea mustakabali wa baadaye. Tufanye kazi pamoja na tukue pamoja. Kuimarisha Kenya ni jukumu la Farm Kenya.
Hello and welcome to the Farm Kenya Show. I'm Noki Kimboy, and today we have a thorough discussion about the mushroom sector. Kenya has a deficit. A lot of mushrooms that we consume in the country actually comes from outside. The big question is, why is it that locally we're not able to produce enough? That is one. But in the next hour or so, we will go through mushroom farming. Apart from that, how to prepare mushroom properly for your nutrition purposes. Welcome to the Farm Kenya Show, and today we are at Makuno Organic Mushrooms. We're about to begin this conversation with the proprietor, Mr. Morris Njagi. Good to see you, sir. Looking good, well branded.
Thank you.
How are you doing?
I'm doing fine. Welcome to our farm. I'll be taking you around. I'll show you the entire process. And then we'll have a side conversation on the market and what other farmers can do as well to get to where we are and even better.
Thank you very much. Asante sana. Can't wait. Hey! Makuno, what is the meaning of Makuno?
So Makuno is a Kikuyu word meaning mushrooms.
Okay.
We used it because back home when I was building the grow houses, everyone was saying, Moses is doing Makuno.
Moses wa Makuno.
Yeah, wa Makuno. So
All
I stuck with the name. Yes.
So Moses, there's some work going on here, and I know we're gonna get some gloves just to sample. What exactly is happening? Because this is a compost of some sort.
Yes.
Talk to me about this.
So what you can see is a compost. They're actually adding gypsum.
Okay.
Gypsum is an integral part of button mushroom compost.
Okay.
It helps with the structure of the compost, the pH, and also the water content, the moisture content.
Okay.
If you have a look at the compost that they're turning, you'll notice it's very moist and it's very wet. If you squeeze it, and then it has a pungent smell.
Okay.
Okay, I think someone should give you gloves.
Give me some gloves.
Yes,
You're being
so
very
that you can
economical
feel.
with these gloves. Thank you very much, sir.
Yes.
Asante sana. Zitanitosha? Asante. Okay.
Yes.
So you say that gypsum, it gives it some sort of structure?
Yes, for the pH.
Okay.
The first thing, the most important is the pH. So
Okay.
it regulates the pH levels. Mushrooms, button mushrooms, grow best in an alkaline compost.
Okay.
So if it's acidic, you're going to have issues with mold, might even kill your mycelium. You won't get any mushrooms.
Okay.
So it's very important that your pH is right.
Okay.
So what they're adding is gypsum. It's the final ingredient that we add before it goes into the tunnel. So
Okay.
they're doing right now.
Okay.
They're going to mix it so that it's even. It needs to be an even mix.
Okay.
So if you hold it, and then you can feel
It's
it's very
very warm.
hot. It's very hot actually. It's beyond 60 degrees right now.
Okay.
The one in the bunker, if you check, you're going to see it's around 75 degrees hot.
Oh.
So it's pretty hot. And the reason that is happening is because it's active.
Okay.
There's a lot of biological activity going on.
Okay.
There's the ammonia that's getting broken down, and that's what causes that rise in temperature that you can feel once you hold the compost.
So the composting components,
Yes.
you're adding gypsum to what exactly?
So this is what you can see here is wheat straw.
Okay.
Wheat straw that has already been wetted to get, so that if you have a look at it, you see that the moisture levels are quite high.
Okay.
So we first wet the wheat straw, and then we add chicken manure, chicken manure now is the nitrogen source. It provides the nitrates or the nitrogen that's going to be broken down and be used as food for the mushrooms.
Okay.
And then we have gypsum as the third ingredient.
Okay.
So those are the three that we use to make good quality button mushroom compost.
Okay.
Yes.
And how long does this take to make a good compost?
So the entire process, the outdoor composting,
Yes.
there are two phases.
Okay.
There is the bunker.
Okay.
In the bunker, it's in there for 8 days. And then there's the tunnel, it's in there for 7 days. So our compost from start to finish is going to take 15 days. And then you have good quality compost, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Definitely. Very, very important. So once this one is ready, we go to the bunker.
Yes.
Okay.
Once they've mixed it up, we've made sure that it's an even mix, it's homogeneous. Then we're going to fill it in the bunker, where we're going to turn on the blowers, and then we air it. The purpose of the blower is to force air into the compost.
Okay.
That oxygen that you push in, added by the organic matter, now it creates good food for the bacteria. And when they're breaking down the material, that's when the temperature goes up.
Okay.
If one of your components is not right, for example, the amount of nitrogen that you need is not right, it's not going to heat up. If you have too much water that it blocks the pores, it's not going to heat up.
Okay.
So that can also be a sign that guides you to know that I've done a mistake somewhere, and then you can have it tested and see where you went wrong. Yeah.
I see that.
Yes.
Very, very interesting. Right now, I want us to go to the next stage.
Yes.
After we've done the outdoor composting,
Yes.
we move now into the bunker space.
Yes, yes.
Is that okay?
Yes, the bunker,
Okay.
which is also called the phase one.
Phase
so that's
one.
the phase one. Yes.
It sounds like a real estate project. Phase one. Let's
Yeah.
walk to phase one. We've done our composting. You say that this one will take how long?
So outside in the bunker, it's going to take 8 days.
Uh-huh.
So this is the 4th day.
Okay.
They've added gypsum, as you can see. If you look at the material now, it's very even. You can't
Yes.
even see the traces of gypsum.
Uh-huh.
It's well mixed in.
Uh-huh.
So now after they've mixed it in,
Yes.
we have to put it in the bunker.
In the bunker.
So join me.
Hey, this is my
So,
workout of
yes.
the year. So the bunker, this is where the magic happens.
Yes, yes, yes.
How so?
So the bunker
Uh-huh.
is a structure.
Uh-huh.
Just it's the walls, there's
Okay.
the floor, no roof. You'll notice, you'll see pipes.
Uh-huh.
There's pipes at the front,
Yes.
and these pipes go all the way to the back. In the back, they are connected to a motor that blows in air through the blower. And inside, as you'll see, for every about 30 centimeters or so, there's a hole in the pipe that points into the compost.
Okay.
So once we turn on the blower, it blows air into the compost.
Uh-huh.
That's why you can feel that if you touch the compost, it's very hot.
Okay.
It's 70 degrees and above.
Uh-huh.
So that is just because of the fresh air that you're blowing into the compost.
Why are you blowing air into the compost?
So you want your compost to be aerobic.
Uh-huh.
So as you can see, for example, if you smell the compost, you'll feel a very strong pungent smell.
Yes.
That is ammonia that is being formed here. So we want to break down that ammonia to a level that is not toxic to the mushrooms, right?
Okay.
And for that to happen, the process has to be aerobic,
Okay.
meaning it has enough water, there's enough fresh air, there's the organic matter that's been broken down. If there's not enough air getting into your compost, then it creates a very good environment for the harmful bacteria to get in there. So
Okay.
you're going to have diseases and molds inside your compost,
Okay.
and your mushrooms won't thrive in such conditions.
Okay.
Yeah.
Definitely. So you said at the bunker, that is another, it's 7 days blowing air,
8 days.
8 days here.
8 days, yes.
Okay.
So after the 4 days, you get it out. That's when now they add the gypsum and they get it back in.
Okay.
Then we continue blowing air for another 4 days, and then we get it out and put it into the tunnel.
Really?
Yes.
That's
Ano-
amazing.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Something else to note
Yes.
is that you don't want your compost to be cramped up like manure. If you've seen old cow dung, it's very compact. You don't want that because it creates an environment where harmful bacteria thrive. You're going to get stuff like green mold in your compost. So it has to be very, very loose.
Okay.
That's why even when they're turning, we have to make sure the process is thorough.
Okay.
So as you can see, it's very loose.
It's very
So
loose.
even when you're filling it in the bunker, we don't compact it. We just put it loosely all the way to the top.
Ah, lovely.
Yes.
All right. You've said there's some air that is being blown, and thereafter, after the bunker space, we take it into another room.
Yes.
That is special. What
Yes.
have you tagged this room as?
So this room is the tunnel.
Okay.
It's called the tunnel.
Tunnel.
Yes.
Let's go into the tunnel, shall we?
Let's do that.
Okay. That's beautiful. The last one. Uh-huh. There's a lot of workout in this farm, man.
Yes, you need a lot of labor for this.
Yes.
Because this is around 35 tons.
35
You need
tons.
about 12 to 17 people to fill the bunker for one day.
Wow.
So it's a lot of labor, yeah.
All right.
But it's worth it.
Definitely. All right, now this is the next stage. We call it the tunnel. And even from the sound and the look of it, it's very tunnel-like. So after that stage, you bring the compost here.
Yes.
Explain to me why the structure, why so much darkness and whatnot.
So the tunnel serves three purposes, and that dictates why it's designed the way it is. You'll notice it's fully enclosed door, and then we have the aeration, and we have the hole that you can see on that corner.
Okay.
That is for recycling the ammonia that's produced. Instead of using it, it's recycling and the hot air as well.
Okay.
So the structure has to be fully closed because one of the purposes is pasteurization.
Okay.
And pasteurization cannot happen if you have openings letting in bad bacteria, diseases, insects, and all that. So that's why it's fully enclosed. And to also, when you're heating it up, you don't lose the extra heat, because if there are openings, then the hot air is going to escape, and you won't pasteurize your compost to the levels that you want.
Okay.
Yes.
And I see pure concrete here. Very heavy structure. In terms of somebody who wants to come into mushroom and they are asking themselves, in terms of this model, so far we've followed the compost until now we are in the tunnel. Is this a normal practice in mushroom production in the country, or is it relatively new?
This particular setup, it's called, it's two phases. There's phase one, phase two. It's the short method of composting. It's relatively new here in the country. Not many farmers have picked it up, and the reason for that is because most mushroom farmers are still small scale, and most of them are still using the long method of composting, which takes about 35 days. So it's labor intensive, and there's a lot of work involved in that, and the quality of compost you get is quite not the best. But with this particular system, you can make huge volumes of compost. For example, the tunnel that we're in has a capacity of 35 to 40 tons of compost that we can do. For context, the average farmer will compost about 100 to 200 bales of wheat straw. This particular tunnel can accommodate compost worth 1,000 to 1,100 bales, which is almost 5 times what the average farmer is doing. But also another reason why most farmers don't have this particular system is the cost. The cost of building the bunker and the tunnel is also a huge first-time cost. And then there's the skill issue. For this tunnel, the processes in here, it's a lot of temperature control, as well as air. The amount of air that you blow in is very calculated for you to achieve those temperatures that you want. And that skill is still, to get skilled people to man your tunnel is still quite a task. So most farmers don't want to take that risk and do it themselves.
Perfect.
Yes.
How long does the compost stay here before we move to the next stage?
So the compost, once it's done in the bunker, we bring it into the tunnel. In the tunnel, it stays here for 7 days. But in that 7 days, there's the first part, which is leveling, also called the pre-pasteurization conditioning, whereby you bring the entire mass to the same temperature range, and then you pasteurize. That means you take it to temperatures between 59 and 60 degrees. It stays there for maybe 6 to 12 hours, and then it's fully pasteurized. You've killed off all the bad harmful bacteria, molds, and all that, but you've left the beneficial ones, because there are those bacteria that you want that are going to help you break down the ammonia, and also some are going to be food for your mushrooms. So you pasteurize and then you condition. The post pasteurization conditioning is whereby you get rid of all the ammonia. Because if ammonia is high, it's going to kill off your mycelium and your mushrooms are just going to die off. You're going to have a compost that is not favorable for button mushroom farming.
Okay.
So that's the entire, just the breakdown for the 7 days. So it's 3 stages within that 7 days.
All right.
At the end of the 7 days, that's when now you take the sample for testing just to make sure that everything is okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you've tested your sample, you've been told everything is okay in your tunnel.
Yes.
What's next?
So once we've gotten the results back, it's time to bag.
Okay.
So we put our compost in bags. You can use either 5 kilo bags or 10 kilo bags.
We go back.
And then goes into the incubation where we're headed right now.
Ah, beautiful. Yes. We've verified that our compost is ready for use. You bring it here. Take me through this process because it's a very interesting room and very populated with structures. What's happening here?
So this is our incubation room. It can also serve as a grow house. So it's made of precast panels. Then it has the insulated roof, and then you have the beds, which is what you're going to place your bags on. You can also use the bed system where you place a polythene sheet and you pour the compost on top, and then you spread it out. But for us, because of cleanliness and hygiene, we use the bag method, which is what you can see. So once we've gotten the results for our compost, everything is okay. We put it in 5 kilo bags and 10 kilo bags, and then we bring the bags into the incubation room. In the incubation room, here temperatures are high, it's dark, and the CO2 levels are high. There's no need for watering or anything. So once we brought them into the incubation room, we've arranged them in the shelves. Then we introduce our spawn. The spawn in the bags, we put the spawn in, we mix it in, and then we cover. And then it's going to be like that for 14 days as we wait for the mycelium to run. And then after the 14 days, it's going to look like this. So this is compost that's already populated with mycelium, which is the white that you can see. So this is fully colonized. Okay. This is fully colonized compost. So this is ready now for casing. Okay. So we're going to add a layer of casing. Casing is a layer of soil at the top, 1.5 inch deep, and that is what is going to cover the compost, and that will host our mushrooms, as well as all the water that you're going to water is going to be in that layer. Also, it's going to help the mycelium breathe. It acts as an air exchange media as well. Okay, so now...
So we can have our soil?
Yes, so the first step, once you've confirmed your bags are okay, you need to level the top. This is to make sure that there is no soil that is spreading and dropping to the sides. So you compact the sides slightly, make sure it's a bit level, okay, like that. Once you've compacted it and it's properly done like that, now we introduce our casing soil. Okay. So you add.
Why is it called casing soil?
The term is to case. It's almost like it's called adding a casing layer. You see, you had this here at the bottom, and then you need to make sure that your casing has enough water. If you have a look at it, it's not mud, but it has high moisture levels because mushroom use up a lot of water. And if you have casing soil that is too dry, you're going to have issues once you start harvesting, trying to hydrate the soil back. So it's good to have enough soil at the start. For this, remember, don't compact your casing. And also, we want to retain that structure, that core structure, so that the air, the mushroom can breathe. So once we've leveled it, don't compact it, and then we're going to cover it like this, like that, and then we're going to leave it for 14 days. And then the mycelium is going to travel all the way to the top. Okay. And then incubation will be complete.
So after 14 days after casing, that is, your mycelium, your spawn essentially has grown through the soil layer. You come back, what exactly do you do then?
So conditions here, you have now to trigger fruiting. Remember, for incubation, there are different conditions as compared to fruiting. So in incubation, temperatures are relatively high, between 22 and 24 degrees. The CO2 levels are also high. So for you to trigger the fruiting, for the mushroom to know it's now time to grow, you have to change those parameters. So once we've opened the bags, we've uncovered our bags, we give the casing a light spray because we want our humidity to be up, and then we lower the temperatures. We don't lower them instantly from 22 to 16, we lower them gradually. The reason for that is so that there isn't overpinning, where you have so many pins or young mushrooms going at the top such that they don't get to the right size because they're too many and too overpopulated. Okay. The other thing we do is we bring in fresh air. So using our extractor fan and our inlet, we bring in a lot of fresh air and we pull out the CO2. So that reduction is what now brings about the fruiting of the mushrooms.
All right.
Yeah.
Definitely. So at this particular moment, we are at the fruiting level, and we are actually at Makuno Organic Mushrooms right here with Maurice Njagi, and he says that this is a process you can take care of and you can do it yourself if you want to. So we'll take a short break right here at the Farm Kenya Show. When we come back is the fruiting level, but also apart from fruiting, how do you prepare your mushroom in a nice sumptuous way that will add to your health in the year 2025. Stay tuned.
Kuwa mkono ambao unalima ardhi, mlango wa mkulima, kuwa mshindi, kuwa na uhakika sasa, kukulea mustakabali wa baadaye.
All right, welcome back to the Farm Kenya Show, and today we're still discussing matters to do with mushrooms. Now, your mushrooms have matured, and you're supposed to harvest them. You've harvested them. Maurice, talk to me about caring for the mushroom, especially to make sure that you're achieving the proper quality that is needed in the market. What are you supposed to do?
So the first thing is hygiene is very important when it comes to mushroom farming, especially now that you've done everything right and it's now harvesting time. So watering, the people who get into the grow house, they need proper gear, they need to be clean, they need to have gloves, they need to have water in the grow house that they can use to wash their hands. And then you need a knife and a brush, of course, to wipe off any dirt particles in your mushrooms. Remember, we don't wash mushrooms before selling them because of the shelf life also. And as proper practice, you don't want to have chemicals in your mushrooms. So we don't use any preservatives or chemicals to make the mushrooms cleaner. So you have to ensure that your mushrooms are white and they don't have any insects or dirt particles.
All right.
So the people getting into the house have to have proper gear, proper harvesting gear, and proper attire, and make sure people don't come from composting area and walk into the grow house, because then they're going to bring contamination and they're going to bring diseases such as green mold or even blotch.
And we're gonna come to those diseases, but in terms of the frequency of harvest now, your mushrooms are showing up. How often do you harvest? For how long?
So mushrooms grow in flashes. So a flash is a period of where you get high yields. It would last anywhere between 7 and 11 days, where you get a lot of mushrooms, and then it takes a break where your mycelium is recovering, and then it comes up. The break will normally be about 3 or 4 days, and then you get another huge boom, which is now the second flash. So in total for us as Makuno Organics, we harvest the flashes, but farmers can get up to 5 flashes, but the more flashes you do, the more the chance of infections in your grow house. And once you have those infections, some of them are very hard to get rid of. So you're better off just doing the 3 flashes, get your money and your profit, and then plan for the next cycle.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Earlier on, you had touched on the downsides, diseases and infections. One of them is very green in color. Yeah. How big of a problem is this in the mushroom farming community?
Well, just as any crop, I would say for oyster mushroom farmers, green mold is a huge disease. But for button mushroom farmers, it shows a failure in the composting process or in the pasteurization process. So it's easily manageable, not if it's in the current compost, but for your next cycle. The bacterial blotch, which is the brown spots, that one is the one that's most frequent and affects most mushroom farmers. But if you're using clean water and your house is clean, then you can avoid these diseases, because for every percentages of yield that you lose to disease is money that you're getting out of your pocket and money you're losing for your business. Okay. So it's very important to make sure you don't get these diseases in your grow houses.
Oh, definitely. And especially doing organically, which is a huge component, because a lot of people talk about chemicals as a way to counter diseases. In organic mushrooms, you just have to do the process properly to avoid that. And if at all there is an infection, does it mean the whole batch is affected, or are there mitigations that you can make at that level?
Well, it depends with how strong the infection is, but we found from experience that in mushroom farming, you're better off, especially if you're doing the bag system and you spot a disease in a bag, you're better off just getting that entire bag from the grow house before it spreads to the other bags. If the infection has contaminated the whole entire house, sometimes how much the money you're going to spend trying to make it work will be more than starting afresh. So it's better to just make sure you don't get those diseases in your grow house.
All right, yeah. Definitely. And even as we near the tail end of this conversation, is approach to market. Yes. Because looking at the numbers year on year, there's been almost 15 to 20% increase in mushroom consumption. This high curiosity, first of all, as a mushroom farmer, what do you think is driving more consumption in the country when it comes to mushroom?
One, information, social media, and then the generational change. If you look at the average age in Kenya, it's getting younger by the year. When I started mushroom farming, I started at oyster mushrooms. We would produce maybe like 40, 50 kilos a day. We would only sell 10 kilos. And some people had never even seen oyster mushrooms, and most didn't even know you can consume mushrooms. But now, for every 5 people you talk to, 3 of them know about mushrooms and have some sort of knowledge about how to cook mushrooms. And this has worked in our benefit as mushroom farmers, because now we can produce even 500 or more kilos a day, and we don't have fear that you're going to get any losses, because remember, mushroom is a very perishable product. So social media and the change in the age of the country, I can say, has helped us as mushroom farmers create that awareness, and also marketing. There are more younger people getting into mushroom farming, and they're taking to social media, be it TikTok, be it X, be it Instagram, pushing for the sales of mushrooms. So it's gotten, the market has gotten bigger than when I started mushroom farming.
Okay, that's very interesting. Talking about the mushroom deficit, because what we produce is not near enough to fit the current demand. We are importing heavily from the likes of Rwanda. Talk to me about, as we clear this conversation, what can be done to reduce that mushroom deficit within the country, even to a place where we can take on the export role?
So I think the biggest problem is that most of the farmers work independently and not as a group, which is something we're trying to discourage, and have more farmers work together. Because if you look at even the people bringing in mushrooms, it's groups of farmers working together, and then they have one uniform product that they can sell to the market. And the only way we can achieve this is working to our strengths. There's a farmer who's located in a cold area, for example. That farmer is in a prime position to grow mushrooms because the temperatures are already okay, so even the investment needed is not as high. There's a farmer who is near where the raw materials are, maybe a farmer who's near where the wheat farms are. That is a farmer who can make compost. And the problem is, as it is here in the mushroom farmers, most of them do everything. So you're composting, you're growing the mushrooms, you're doing the marketing, you're doing the sales yourself. So you're taking too much of a burden upon yourself. So you find that you're failing maybe at the compost or at the crop management because you want to do everything yourself. If you look at maybe the US, Europe, and all the other countries, there are companies that focus on one thing. So a farm focuses on one part of the value chain. There's a farm that the only job they do is composting.
Okay.
So they dedicate research and development to composting, make sure their compost is high quality, free of diseases, and then they supply it to farmers who are in places where they can do the growing. So these farmers only have growing facilities.
Okay.
They have the grow houses, they get the compost, and that's all they do all year.
Okay.
So instead of doing 3 crop cycles, that farmer can do 5 crop cycles in a year, because they don't have to do the incubation part and the composting part.
All right.
Then there are people dedicated to marketing. There are spawn makers, companies that their sole focus is research and everything to do with spawn.
Okay.
So if we accept that same model here in Kenya, I think in the next maybe 2 years, we could probably be okay in terms of market and competition.
Definitely. Quickly, in less than 60 seconds, you guys are tapping into those pockets, supplying farmers. Talk to me about that as we finish.
Okay, so at our farm, we have the ability to make a lot of compost, good quality compost. We always make sure that the compost is tested in the lab before it goes out and before we grow it. So we offer this service to farmers. They can come to our place and they get ready bags, ready compost that's already colonized. It's incubated and they get the casing as well, free of charge. We add the casing so that we can control the whole production cycle. Even the spawn as well, we import it from the Netherlands and they can come to our farm and get very good quality spawn that they can use for their farms as well.
All right. Thank you very much, Maurice. It's time for us to cook, and guess what? These knives are here for mushroom, and I have a very able, it tells me he's not a chef, but he's very passionate about preparing mushroom, Mr. Omar Ismail. Thank you very much. Good to see you. So today we're making mushroom. What kind of mushrooms are we making?
So today we're going to prepare button mushrooms. Yeah, and it is my pleasure to have you guys today here to guide you on how to prepare a well sweet, delicious mushrooms like a chef. So let's go for it.
All right. Yeah. For starters, you have your button mushrooms. Are we cutting them into pieces? Or
yeah, we're going to cut it into pieces. So for me, this is my way on how to cut the mushroom. Yeah, so let's go.
Oh, slice them into small pieces?
Yeah, actually.
Why that way? Because most, personally, the times I've made button mushroom, it's just been this way and that way, and I get these big chunks. What is the advantage?
For me, I prefer this way because before I do my cooking, I actually put the mushroom on a dry pan.
Okay.
Yeah, and give them some few minutes for them to drain its own water, because mushroom has its own water. So for them to drain its own water.
Okay.
So when I do my cook, for me, I like it when it is non-soggy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Non-soggy.
Yeah.
So we've cut already. We have already one that is cut, or do we cut a portion of this?
We already have
some portion there. Yeah.
Yeah. We
okay.
have.
That one is well rested?
Yeah, it is for sure.
So you leave it for how long to drain its own water?
Like 12 minutes, around 12 minutes.
12 to 15 minutes?
12 to 15 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Now we've cut into small pieces, put it somewhere, the water is drained vizuri. Now sasa hiyo process ya kwanza kupika sasa tunaendaje sasa?
On a medium high heat, you add your mushroom to the pan. So after adding the mushrooms to the pan, as I said before, unafaa kutumia pan kubwa na mushrooms ziwe kidogo.
Okay.
So for them to get brown.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, for them to get brown. And also for them to drain the water.
Mimi mara mingi nikipika mwenyewe na katakata na naenda straight kukaranga.
Makosa lakini bado si mbaya. Si mbaya.
Na ni console. So for 10 to 12 minutes unazichanganya hivyo hadi
maji kuishe kabisa.
Maji ishe kabisa.
Ishe kabisa.
So tutachanganya tu hivyo, tumechanganya, changanya
alafu unaipa rest. Kae kidogo rest ya 3 to 5 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah. Then tena utaichanganya tena. Uipe rest nyingine ya 3 to 5 minutes. Yeah.
Ukipika hivyo direct bila mimi nilikuwa napika, bila watu wengi mara mingi wanapika. Katakata alafu unakaranga tu. Una lose nini hapo katikati? Itakuwa na maji mingi, ladha itakuwa affected ama vipi?
Hapana, ladha itakuwa affected. Lakini for me what I think, sipendi mushroom ikipika iwe maji ama
ina maji mingi sana.
Ina maji nyingi sana. Sipendi ikiwa hivyo. Napenda iwe dry. Yeah. For that recipe I think unaweza ikula na aina nyingi za chakula, mkate kama breakfast unaweza tumia na mkate, lunch unaweza itumia na sima ama mchele, kama hiyo.
Na different types of mushrooms zinapikwa tofauti. Najua leo tunapiga the button one. Kuna njia tofauti za kutengeneza hizi mushroom ama standard ukishika hii wewe uko sawa?
I think hii standard ukishika uko sawa.
Uko sawa kabisa.
Zina njia tofauti. So vile nimesema, hiyo maji yetu inaanza kutoka na ikishaanza kutoka, maji ikishaanza kutokea, you should let it evaporate.
Usidrain.
Usiache evaporate kabisa. Maji ishe kabisa ikwe dry na iturn golden.
Okay.
Color pia.
Okay. Ni maji mingi.
Maji nyingi, After the water has evaporated, I'm going to take another pan.
Okay. So you transfer?
I transfer the mushroom to the other pan, but after I've put my ingredients.
So tunaanza na kitunguu?
Tutaanza na kitunguu, mwanzo na mafuta.
Na mafuta? Okay. So unamwaga?
Tutamwaga mafuta
kidogo tu.
You add the onions kwa jinsi ambavyo wewe unapenda kutumia vitunguu. Kuna wale wanapenda kutumia vitunguu nyingi, wengine wanapenda vitunguu kidogo. Kama mimi napenda nyingi.
Unapenda mingi sana?
Napenda mingi.
Inaongeza hiyo ladha vizuri kabisa.
Inaongeza ladha vizuri.
So unaweza nini? Unataka nini next?
So
kuna nyanya na
kuna nyanya na green pepper.
Yes. So gani next tunapiga?
So next tutatia nyanya.
Nyanya
na green pepper.
Green pepper. Okay. Hapo sawa. So unatumia hizi ingredients bila ungependa. Hata naona pilipili pia.
Pilipili kwa yule ambaye anapenda, si lazima.
Wale wapendi. Anza kukula, wanaanza kulia. Unakaranga vizuri. Unaangalia hapo texture ya kitunguu ina turn color gani unaangalia?
Golden, a bit golden.
Okay. A bit golden. So hapa ni normal kukaranga process.
Normal kukaranga, the way you karanga your vegetable, meat.
Yes.
Something like that.
Okay. Ona nyanya sasa ndio itakuwa next.
Nyanya ndio tutatia next.
Itasaidia sana na supu,
na supu.
Leo nimefurahi kwa sababu nimepata a new way ya kupika mushroom. Mimi nimekuwa nikipika wrong.
It's my pleasure.
Unazidrain kwanza.
Unazidrain kwanza. Zi turn brown ama golden.
Golden kabisa. Hapo sawa. Hapo iko sawa. Wewe unapenda mushroom sana. Unakula mushroom?
Mushroom napenda, na kwa wiki naweza kula, sikosi kula mara 3 au mara 4. Nzuri.
Very healthy. Yeah? Kula mushroom sana.
Tutakula sana.
Hapo sawa. Shukuru sana. So karange vizuri
sana. So tutasubiri vitunguu vyetu vigeuke. Vijipike kidogo.
Hivi, hautaki kula vitunguu beach kwa mushroom. Utafunika?
Tutachukua nyanya sasa.
Utachukua nyanya sasa. Yeah. Okay. Nyanya muhimu sana.
Tunisaidia kutia ama?
Unaweza shika hivyo nikusaidia kutia. So hapa tunaongeza tu kidogo.
Kidogo tu.
Unapenda nyanya mingi ama kidogo?
Kidogo. Nyingi pia sawa. Maana inaleta ladha nzuri.
Naona hapo. Tunaongeza vizuri. Tosha. Sawa. Sasa tunaendelea.
So nyanya vyetu tutavipika.
Hadi zibondeke vizuri.
Tutazisubiri zibondeke vizuri. Tutaongeza pia green pepper pamoja na nyanya.
Okay. So hii tunaweka pamoja. Okay.
Tosha.
Imetosha. Wiki kwa wingi. Na hii pepper hii sasa hii.
Sijui kama nyinyi mngependa tutumie.
Tumia. Unapenda hii?
Napenda pilipili.
So unakatakata
katakata za kuonyesha jinsi ambavyo tutakata.
Unajua kuna njia mingi. Okay. Na make sure imeiva vizuri. Sawa. Sasa hiyo mkarango, nyanya, kitunguu, green pepper, bell pepper. Tumeongeza zile mchuzi. Ni wakati sasa wa kuongeza mushroom yetu sasa.
Ni wakati sasa kuongeza mushroom yetu baada ya ingredients zetu kuwa zimeiva tayari.
Sasa unabeba tu hivyo unainua.
Unabeba hivyo tu.
Hapo tuna hii ndio sisi weka kwa wingi.
Tutaitia yote.
Hii kaa vizuri sana.
Asante.
Hapo vizuri sana. Hapo vizuri.
So baada ya kuvitia tutakoroga mushroom yetu. Mix them up the mushroom.
Karanga vizuri.
Sasa bila viungo na ingredients yetu ambavyo tumeviweka
zingiane vizuri. I see that. Sema ulikuwa umeshaongeza pilipili yako pia?
Pilipili tuliongeza, kila kitu tulishaweka.
Hapo sawa. Mushroom ina maji, so tulitoa ile maji. Hiyo style yangu nilikwambia ile yenye iko ya kudrain maji. Mara nyingi unapata uongezi maji sana. Sababu maji ready iko kwa mushroom. Kwa hivi vile unachanganya hivi, baadaye utaongeza maji wale wenye wanapenda katupu.
Kama unapenda supu, unahitaji kuongeza supu, unaweza ongeza. Si mbaya. Haina shida yote. Ile maji iko kwa mushroom. Haimaanishi kwa mushroom ina maji. Tukishaitoa ufai kuongeza maji nyingine. Unaweza ongeza.
Unapenda yenye na supu ama yenye na supu?
Mimi kivyangu inategemea na kula na nini.
Akuona.
Kama ni wali napenda iwe na supu, kama ni ugali bila supu.
Kama ni ugali bila supu?
Kidogo napenda ikiwa hivyo.
Akuona vile unakuja. Pia hapa tuko na garnish. Ile ya kuongeza inaitwaje ile kumalizia. Dania. Fishi sana. Baada ya hapa sasa sisi tutafungua hoteli ya kupika tu mushroom peke yake. Naenda sana.
So tukishaichanganya tutaifunika tuipe wakati iive.
utaipata muda upi?
Tutapa kama dakika 3 tu, si nyingi.
Dakika 3.
Maana mushroom tulishatoa maji, yameiva, yako tayari. Pia viungo viko tayari, so kuacha yachanganyikane tu.
Hapo sawa. So imeiva vizuri, imeingizana na zile viungo vizuri sana. Sasa ni wakati wa plate,
wa kupakua sasa. Tusikie
kwa vipi. Ndivyo hivyo sasa. Ona hapa kuna plate nzuri sana.
Tazima iko letu.
Tulie kabisa. Nakaa vizuri sana.
Asante.
Inapendeza kimacho. Unajua chakula unataka kuona green. Na naona vile iko hapo vizuri.
Asante sana.
So that's idea kuweka. Hapo sawa. So hii imetosha kwanza ya kionjo tu. Shika hapo. Nataka uipatie kionjo, tueleze una test nini, ni chenye ulikuwa unatarajia ama hapana?
Bismillah.
Kwa vipi?
Kwa sawa, ni kitamu sana.
Kitamu sana.
Ni kitamu. It's very sweet and delicious.
Hebu tuone. Penda vila test ya mushroom inatokelezea, bado iko hiyo unique test yake hiyo. Unajua? Pia naona umeongeza pilipili, sasa ina mwasho kidogo. Unaona machozi yanaanza
kusuggest. Wewe mwenyewe ndio ulisema niongeze, ndio maana.
Asante, nashukuru sana. Hebu umeniingiza katika ulingo wa pilipili sasa. Lakini ni kazi nzuri sana.
Asante.
Hebu chukua test nyingine, at least kijiko kingine. Iko sawa? Na hapo sawa. Na tukimalizia, chukua moja ndio tufanye ile toast. Unajua ile toast? A proposal toast. So hapa hivi tutafanya toast kwamba farming ya mushroom itazidi kuwa katika nchi, kwa sababu saa hizi bado tuko na deficit, unajua?
Kweli.
Wakulima wa mushroom kama nyinyi hapa mtazidi kuwa na kubobea, ama namna gani?
Kweli.
Cheers hapo.
Cheers.
Asante sana. All right. Thank you very much.
Welcome.
Amazing show right there. Matters mushroom farming, and also how you can make yourself a wonderful meal from mushroom. Dense and also packed with a lot of nutrients. But that is the whole value chain. And remember, there is a deficit when it comes to mushrooms in Kenya. It is a value chain that you too can plug into. But that's all for the Farm Kenya show. Today, my name is Noki Kimboy, and it's bye-bye for now.
Kuwa mkono ambao unalima ardhi, mlango wa kulima, kuwa mshindi, kuwa uhakika sasa.